ya? Happy Easter!
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/thehorrorofbabylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Hello and welcome to episode 148 of The Horror of Babylon, where we discuss ourselves and 3 years of being on the air. I cannot fucking believe it. I'm Ryan, and with me as always is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
I am a little high, Daniel.
Oh, and Hef's here too, remotely this time. Hold on, let me get him on the line. Waffle 2 to Waffle 1. Come in, Waffle 1. Waffle 1?
I forgot what number I was. I'm like shit.
The number one spot.
I'm like shit.
Okay, Waffle 1's here. All right, great.
How y'all doing? Good to be here.
You like waffles?
And I may waffle about a lot of things, but I don't waffle at my loyalty to our patrons. Thank you to Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full
Metal Patron.
Shit. And Ben, the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker. Oh my god, she makes it rain. And Sierra the Sixth, the Keyblade Patron. And thank you to Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia. Mall Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.4horsemancomics.com. And if you make it in the store, say hello to Ronald III, Grandpa's of Christmas. And say thank you, because he just recently gave us two more Magic the Gathering secret layers to give away. We received a Chucky secret layer and a Monstrous Magazine secret layer. So listen to upcoming episodes to figure out how you can get your chance to win those. But thank you very much to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming for providing those to us. We greatly appreciate it.
If you remind me, I'll also promote that on my other YouTube channel.
Okay. And if you are not a Magic player, these they're basically just like themed card sets. Like the Chucky one will have like 5 or 6 Chucky themed cards, and they make pretty good gifts for the Magic player in your life. You can also resell them because they have a little bit of value, or they look pretty cool in a frame on a bookshelf.
And if you just really want to piss someone off, just burn them.
Yeah.
Do TikTok, burn them.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that. It's a free country.
People still play Flip and Rip for some reason.
Well, I don't know. TikTok is a Chinese thing, and China isn't a free country. Can you do that on TikTok?
As long as you're not promoting certain values, you can do whatever you want on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm surprised we've gotten this far into our podcasting where I feel like we've made very few TikTok burns. I don't feel like that comes up very often.
I think that's just because TikTok doesn't naturally come up in our brains. It's not something that we think about.
It's like something we tried when we were trying to really pimp out the podcast, but it just got to be too much on top of everything else.
It wasn't even just was too much too. It was just it's just not our demographic. I just didn't identify with anybody that was on there. Maybe that one guy, Dr. McGee.
The only TikToks I see are ones that white women send me or Ben sends me.
Speaking of reflections, we have opened every one of these anniversary episodes by kind of reflecting on the past year, on things we liked, things we didn't like, things we could do better, things we thought we did pretty well. So I've got a series of different things for us to discuss. And I'll introduce the question, And we'll let Hef take the first one, and then Daniel can respond, and then I'll interject, and then we'll alternate.
And we'll just do a little circle.
Yep. Okay, so first question, just in general, what do you think we could have done differently for season 3, Mr. Hef?
I think not breaking Ryan would have been a really good one.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Hacking it snapped.
I mean, I think it's interesting because I do think that does kind of play into what I think we could have done a little bit better this year. Because I think when we were talking about season 3 early on, we talked about how we wanted to kind of reduce a lot of stress and a lot of, I guess, feeling like we really had to do this. And I think we did well with it, but at the same time, I don't think we did. Like, I think our content was overall better. Like, I think, like, we just enjoyed making the episodes more. But I think what still got, and especially Ryan, what especially got us was just the amount was still way more than I think it should have been.
I think we chose what we covered better than we did in season 2. Yeah, we did the first 5 Nights at Freddy's book, and this isn't that great, but I just assuming in my head, well, Daniel likes these. I guess 2 will be better and 3 will be better. And then I start reading book 2, and I was like, Daniel, this sucks. And he's like, yeah, none of them are very good. And I was like, why the f*** are we reading them? And he said, because I thought it would be funny.
Ooh. Damn, Daniel.
I like So Bad It's Good.
Daniel, any thoughts about what we could have done differently for season 3?
Stopping at the first 5 Nights at Freddy's book and just doing one.
Fucking knew he was going to say that.
For season 3, just reducing the amount of episodes earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe not by what we're reducing it by now, but even just like a little bit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I'm sorry. I think still, like, it's one of those things where, like, we had a lot. Like, it was still a lot. I mean, it wasn't as bad as on me because I obviously, I show up every now and then. But, I mean, not only just but mostly for you guys. I mean, I just feel like, yes, content better, cool. But at the same time, it's still stress. It's still something that's like a deadline, trying to meet it. And, I mean, that's tough.
And it didn't feel like a lot at first. But then just as we kept going, it started to. I really enjoyed the Summer of Goosebumps. But at the same time, it was like, I felt like I was reading a Goosebumps book, and then I had to get onto this other book, and then it was another Goosebumps book. It's just, I would have been like, just even if it wasn't 1 book a month, I would have been like, let's reduce it by like 2 books. Maybe if I would have known how the ceremonies was going to end, I might have cut it.
I like that we haven't done a lot of this. A book that none of us have read by an author that none of us had read.
I did enjoy doing that, and I also really did enjoy the ceremonies. It's just that, like,
mostly
like that last 10 pages.
This book didn't suck. Mostly.
By the way, Hef, we've already decided that if we ever get famous enough to like do streams where people give us money, we're gonna make you live read that book. It's the slowest burn.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna make me. Oh, because it's a slow burn. You're gonna make me read it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I have one opinion about 1 book, and I swear to Christ,
Dude, you have no idea.
Apparently not.
Makes Pet Cemetery look like a Chucky movie or something.
That seems absurd.
Okay,
Jeez.
All right, some thoughts on some of the changes we made. We'll let Hef start with this one again. Separating the 2 kind of content we created into 2 separate channels, putting keeping the podcast on the Horror Babylon channel and moving the Let's Plays and kind of the birth of the Hef_GG channel. Hef, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, speaking personally, I think that was. Like, I don't know if you agree or like that, but that might have been, that's up there as one of the best decisions I think we made this year. For a couple reasons. The biggest reason being that You're right. I think we were kind of having a lot of cannibalism going on in the channel. Like, there was just too much going on, a lot of stuff to keep track of. But the biggest thing, or the second biggest thing that I would say is that I don't know how much work you did on the back end for a lot of that channel. I assume you did quite a bit, but
yeah,
it did make not making you worry about that has made me feel a whole lot better. And it actually has kind of gotten me a lot more focused on making sure I know my deadlines, making sure my content comes out just a little bit more polished. Like, it's kind of given me a little bit more of a benchmark, I guess. So it's been good for me. It's been a little bit better of a ritual to be able to keep up with, and it's a lot easier to keep up with when I'm uploading it. I know when it's going up, I know how it's going up, and it just makes it a little bit there's a little bit more control for me, which I like a little bit better. But I also think not having to have you upload every single thing I send you, making even more work for you, is like, I think that's strictly better.
Yeah, it just aside from like the whole like algorithm thing, it just kind of occurred to me that you're uploading it to Google Drive so that I can upload it to YouTube, and it's just like, wait a minute, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's still like, I still probably, my internet's awful here. Like, I still, like, to put up a video, I usually have to upload it like the night before, and it'll usually be done in the morning. So it still takes a bit. Oh, it's bad.
Your videos usually upload in like 3 or 4 minutes for me.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, no, for me it's like, it's a couple hours. Yeah, I have to, but also, again, same deal. Like, it's made me a little bit more productive because I need to be ahead by, no less than 3 days to make sure it gets uploaded at the right time.
And if you've been living under a rock and wondering where the hell all the Let's Play videos went, just search Hef_GG and you can find Hef's channel. It's got the backlog of all of the videos he's ever done for our channel, plus all of his newer stuff, including his Digimonday videos, which is the Digimon TCG, which has never been on our channel. Plus, he just started the Sonic Adventure Director's Cut Let's Play, which never made it onto the Horror Babylon channel. That's completely original Hef_GG content, and I've been enjoying that one quite a bit. So definitely check that out.
Gotta love the Sanics.
Sanic. Yeah, and you say it how I say it, because every time I watch it, I'm like, in my head, I always just say Sanic. Say Sanic.
I grew up with too many memes, so
yeah. And Daniel, in the past year, it's not really ever been tied to our channel, but Daniel has also kicked off his own channel, Starfish Sicko, which is Superman lore and versus series, or what? It's not.
It's versus debating.
Yeah.
So I mostly power scale Superman. So people are like, how strong Superman? I always try to approach it more of like, well, this is how strong this author writes them in this story, and I put it into context. Because I think too many people go with the absolute high ends for all the characters and then like ignore all these low ends. And you really want to put it into context, and then you can pick and choose. Like, I always tell people you want to be consistent. Like, if you choose the high ends for one person, that's fine, but then you should be doing it for both people. And where you're getting your information is important, and what the dialogue actually says is important. I do prediction videos for other people's versus matchups. I do have a horror episode that's coming that I'm going to mention the podcast on, coming out this week, which will be Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club's matchups. So, here, but a lot of people have matchups for it, but I don't like any of them because they're not spooky related. So I'm like, she's only getting spooky related matchups. Yeah.
So definitely, if you have any interest in that kind of stuff, definitely check out Daniel's channel, Starfish Sicko. And also, both of their channels are linked in the notes if you're checking this out on YouTube. Towards the end of season 2 and kind of through the beginning of season 1, we also went through a big phase where we were making YouTube shorts, Facebook, Instagram Reels, and TikToks, and just putting a lot of effort into that. I think we released like over 100 of them, and we eventually just got like burned out really quick. And also at some point we noticed that it was not helping but hurting the views on our regular videos, and we
didn't know shit about algorithms.
Yeah. So that's another change we made in season 3 is just stopping doing all that.
Yeah, I always told myself that on my channel I'm not doing shorts until I have like 100 videos of backlogs, and then it'll just be cuts of my previous videos.
Yeah, I just never. I don't know. We tried the TikTok thing, and we're just not the demographic. There's people that do it better. I'll just say that.
It's hard to make content for a platform that you don't use. So,
yeah.
And I don't use TikTok personally, so it's hard for me to. And even like I watch some YouTube shorts, but not a lot.
I also feel like I also feel like for the most part there is kind of I could be completely wrong. Like I've seen people my age doing TikTok and things like that, but like they're generally just the content themselves is just a lot of it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So it's hard to. It's like you said. Like I don't use it. I don't like jump onto it. So I just feel like I was trying to appeal to people that I didn't really know how to appeal to. It's like going to your mother-in-law's house and being just like, "Hey, I'm here now."
Yep.
And it just doesn't work.
I agree. Okay. So Daniel, we'll let you answer first on this one. What have you? One of our big projects, or really the project of the year, has been the Dark Tower series. Daniel, what are your thoughts so far on our journey to the Dark Tower with Roland and friends?
It makes me wish that Sauron had won. I'm a little bit halfway through the last book now, so maybe my biases are coming through even more than they did in the last episode.
I have not even started it.
I haven't either.
I haven't started Ender's Game either.
But Ender's Game is such.
I'm about halfway through Ender's Game.
It's but I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it and I'm just like, what did they call it? The unexpected journey. What was the in the Lord of the Rings?
The movie?
An unexpected journey.
Was it called the unexpected journey?
No, it's
The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey.
I swear that
an unexpected journey. Yeah.
Okay, so it is an unexpected journey.
Yeah.
Well, I did not suspect anything that was going to happen in this journey except all the stuff that was spoiled for me, and it didn't get much better for me.
Well, I like that it's not predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what about like the experience as a whole? You're kind of answering based on the last 2 books, I think.
Yeah, but like it's like when you're going to Disneyland and you finally get there and all of this is lines. The first book I wasn't too hot on. I think I liked a bunch of the books in the middle the best. I mean, I guess I really liked Song of Susanna, save that one thing.
Yeah.
But it's just that one thing sticks out so much, and it makes me like look at the other book. Like you look back on the journey, and you're like, okay. And that's been my feeling on the Dark Tower so far. Very well written books. Like Stephen King knows his prose. He knows how to draw people in. He knows how to characterize people. He just might be a little bit self-absorbed.
Tef?
I think I'm sitting at a solid 7 on most of the Dark.
7's a good number.
Well, I'm like you. I think for the most part, Daniel, I feel like you and I have been pretty close to the same for each book that we read. The first one I wasn't super huge on. I really enjoyed the second one. The third one had its really high points, but it just went on forever. The fourth one I had my issues with because, I'm a child and I need my story spoon-fed to me. And
Sorry.
yeah, you're good. And but the fifth one was where I got really like. It's sad to say that the fifth book is what I think has really pulled me into finishing the series, because that's so much that we had to go through to get to that point. And I think that's my biggest gripe about it so far. But at the same time, like 5 and 6, with, again, obvious exception in 6 of that one thing, like 5 and 6 have been my favorite ones we've read so far. So,
Yeah.
like, they have gotten better. I'm not saying that they haven't. It's just that to me, it's been like trying to learn how to surf.
It's a bunch of ups and downs, and sometimes you drown.
Hit by a shark.
Yeah.
And I mean, we all know Stephen King and stuff like that, but I mean, I don't know. In this series, I feel like there's just points where he got lost a couple times too often.
Right. Daniel, you already touched a little bit on this, but just kind of general thoughts on the summer of Goosebumps.
There are times when I wish we had just done the year of Goosebumps, and other times where I wish we had done less. It's like every time we read one of those books, it's either like, oh, this is so great, or oh, this is basically just the same book.
Again,
Yeah.
Drake and I just finished Welcome to Dead House.
Yeah.
And just like after we finished Camp Nightmare, I was like, I wish we didn't do all those sequels and would have just spread them out, because Welcome to Dead House is the absolute slowest burn.
Yeah.
Nothing happens until like the last 30 pages,
Mhm.
and it's so absurdly dark that I was like, I thought about just stopping and not reading the rest of Drake.
I honestly if I could make one change, it'd be, let's not do this. We'll do the sequels to the Dummies book some other time.
Yeah, at least not those two. Like the Haunted Mask 2 was
that's
worth
like
the time.
A direct sequel.
Yeah.
You get some of the character development from the previous book, and we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I wish those other Dummy books would have had.
Yeah, if we just would have replaced Night of the Living Dummy 2 and 3 with two other books.
Two other books, I think it would have been probably like peak for me.
And never started the 2023 Goosebumps series.
I also wish we never had wasted our time on that, because that was really bad.
Yeah.
Like, when you watch the original Goosebumps series, even the bad episodes kind of have a campiness quality to it. But I like So Bad It's Funny.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan's not always with me on that one, so I can get on board with that.
It just really depends.
It just depends. So,
Yeah.
But I can get on board with that pretty easily. So, but when it comes to the new Goosebumps series, it's like long and boring and overly serious. And they have that intro that every freaking miniseries has now. That's all the same intro of like, it's either ooze or blood or something bleeding onto the screen and spelling out the name of the series.
So
Thanks, Game of Thrones.
over the past few months, Drake has just like become like Goosebumps obsessed.
Good boy.
And I've tried the TV series with Emma several times, but we tried it again. Neither of them like the old TV series. I guarantee Emma would say that the new one is better. I guarantee.
I have kind of an example of that, if you don't mind me going on a small tangent.
I don't think I would have a podcast with you.
Yeah, if you didn't like my tangents.
Or at least tolerate.
So my current super hyper focus is the Silent Hill 2 remake.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love it. Been playing it to death.
Mm-hmm.
Some people hate it. Some people love it.
I'm glad to hear you
Kind of the
enjoy that.
nature. Huh?
I'm glad to hear you enjoy that, because like I know you're huge on the series.
I think it's the best remake game I've ever played.
Damn.
Actually, no, with the exception of the first Resident Evil 1 remake, that's still the best. But still silver medal. But anyway, Carrie had watched a Let's Play of it, and she's become obsessed with the series. And I was like, oh, you should watch the first game. She's like, well, I really like the first movie. I'm like, the first movie's dog shit. They changed the story. They make a story about fatherhood and loving your daughter, a story about mothers and how fathers just won't do shit for their daughters. And I really hate the director for that reason. But anyway, so Carrie starts watching it and she's like, oh my god, Daniel, this game looks so old. Voice acting's so bad. This is all nostalgic. I can't And one of the things that Silent Hill fans are complaining about with the remake is it's a third-person perspective. They don't use fixed camera angles anymore. And Carrie goes, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're using fixed camera angles. This is so bad." And that's the thing that most Silent Hill fans wishes they still did with this remake. So it pulled me back a little bit and went, what if some of that fans are complaining about purely is just we were conditioned to like it? And sometimes you have to pull yourself back and go, just because you enjoy something doesn't mean that it's not going to work for an entirely different demographic.
Yeah.
Just like the Goosebumps series. But I will express the reasons I personally don't like it.
Yeah, and there are things like that. Like, I could go on a whole rant how I think, like, Ninja Turtles content from the past 10 years is way better than all of the stuff that we grew up with. And there are people who would probably shoot me.
Yes. You want to start a riot.
Those are sacred cows indeed.
So every once in a while, I do like when somebody pulls me back from my, I guess, my podium of fandom.
Yeah, I mean, it's growing up and... All right, let's keep moving. This can go to anybody. Any thoughts on, or / is it even worth talking about, the Blade-a-thon or the Deadite-a-thon?
I enjoyed both of those a-thons, but I like the movies significantly more than you do. My favorite thing about the Blade-a-thon was calling myself Blades in every episode. And my favorite thing about the Deadite-a-thon was, like, you finally finding one that you sort of liked. Evil Dead Rise.
Dead Rise, I thought was legitimately good, and Army of Darkness has its moments.
Yeah, it's almost that funny category for you.
Yeah, but the other three are just like literally like three of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I know that triggers some people, and I'm sorry. It's a preference thing. I just
trigger them. Who cares?
Fun fact, though.
Come at us in the comments. Help us in the algorithm.
It's actually really funny that you say that, because one of my on the rare occasions when people ask me, what episode should I watch first? What episode really, what would be an episode that you would recommend? The one I always recommend that people listen to that have never heard the podcast is the Blade 2 episode.
Any particular reason?
I honestly think it's fun. I think as far as like entertainment value, it's probably one of the best ones we did. Because we were all really just having fun with it. Like, we weren't really being...
It's really high energy if you go back and listen to it.
It is. It's one of the more high energy ones we did.
Even like whenever you're we have complaints, it's like you're having fun with the complaints.
Yeah. Oh, also, that's the one you do that spit take on. Like that
you
first.
Have to remind.
So I can't. The joke was, we were talking. You brought up that Blade was, he had his invulnerability to everything. Like, I have all the strengths and none of the weaknesses. And then we made some kind of segue or something like that into like if he was like, it was like bisexual or something like that, or like if he had a problem with women or something. And then I said something along the lines of like, well, they already said he has no weaknesses, so there it is. And that prompted you to just spit water all over your computer screen and Daniel.
No, it was pretty great.
And
yeah, I think I blacked out most of the Blade-a-thon, so I'll have to re-listen to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That second episode is actually like, if you're asking me like straight up like what's your best episode you ever did, like that was pretty close. Like that might be.
It'd probably be in my top 5 too. Just it is really high energy. It's one of the ones I've actually listened to start to finish.
All right, I will check that out. All right, and Daniel, any thoughts on the past year continuing the Treehouse of Horror of Babylon?
I'm still almost pro us just starting another channel to just start uploading those again.
Yeah, I've just been waiting for us to get a few more of them.
Yeah, because I think that I don't do this to get famous. I do this to hang out with my friends and have a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the most before I did this, I hadn't barely seen my friends in years.
Yeah, we didn't hang out as often as we should have.
And
that's just a life thing.
But this gives a good excuse to do it, and it's helped my mood significantly these past few years.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if I was going to go, if I wanted to chase the algorithm, doing kind of horror content that I want to do, but also do something I think people want to watch, I'd be like Simpsons.
Yeah.
And then, people can come in with their own hot takes. Because Simpsons still has, like, a fanatic fan base.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason it doesn't do as well on our channel right now as it does, as it possibly could, is because it gets buried in the algorithm by all the other stuff we do.
There is a lot of speculation that this season is going to be the last season.
Really?
So, before Fox was bought by Disney, the last 2 seasons they greenlit were seasons 35 and 36. Season 36 just started airing. They have not greenlit any more seasons past that. They haven't announced they're canceling it. Obviously, you would have heard that. But no seasons have been greenlit since. They also didn't renew the license with EA for The Simpsons Tapped Out.
All the evidence.
Also,
oh man,
the season premiere of season 36 it started, and it was Conan O'Brien who got famous being a writer on The Simpsons in like seasons like 2, 3, 4, and then went on to have his own show. He was hosting with like all these celebrities, like Tom Hanks was on the episode, all these famous people. He was hosting the Simpsons series finale. It was the season premiere, and what the episode was about was they hired ChatGPT to write a Simpsons finale, and the Simpsons finale was Bart turning 11 after 36 years. And long story short, the episode ends with ChatGPT exploding and killing itself, and they say, okay, this is just a season premiere, it's not a series finale. But they're talking about it. They're acknowledging it.
I think they should bring up Pooh back, but just for the last episode, and all he says is "Thank you, come again," and that's the last line in the Simpsons.
I'll cry.
Man.
I'll cry.
I think
man.
If they do that, Ryan, I will watch every episode of The Simpsons start to finish.
I will cry. But yeah, so if we were going to do another channel, like sometime soon would probably be a good time to do that, because it's kind of coming under the public eye again.
Yeah, so that's...
Okay. All right. So, F, what are you looking forward to in season 4? And also, what are some goals you have for season 4?
Well, for season 4 specifically, I'm super excited to just like really jump into some stuff that I feel like we're finally getting to that penultimate point with. Like, when y'all started this, I know, like, the goal was to, do horror podcasts, do horror, like, talk about horror stuff and various things like that. But I always think the secret goal was to be lazy. And what I mean by that is to get to the point where we have enough viewers, listeners, whatever it is that we have, that they just enjoy us as content creators rather than exclusively the content we are creating. And it means that we can do stuff that we're actually looking forward to producing. So I know, like, have you all... I'm a bad egg and I haven't watched the most recent episodes. Have you given a list of what we're planning to do for season 4 to the people yet?
In the ceremonies to last week's episode, we announced we explained like the whole new formula, and we said, okay, here's the November, December, January book, and we'll always keep you like 3 months ahead. So in November we'll tell you February's book, in December we'll tell you March's book, so you'll know 3 books ahead what we're reading.
Well, in that case, then what I'm saying is going to make sense, because we've gotten to the point now where I think we can produce content that we're going to enjoy, and we've been looking forward to making, because our listener base trusts us enough. I think that we can not really diverge, but finally start getting to a point where we're talking about things that we have been excited to talk about. And as far as what I personally am looking forward to, I mean, the whole goal of it's kind of like what Daniel said, and actually you both kind of made a mention of it, like, we've kind of gotten to that point in our lives where we're older, we have responsibilities, and for the most part, you kind of get to that stage in your life where like friends kind of disappear. You just don't really keep track of the people you used to, and for better or for worse, sometimes you try and sometimes you don't. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. But like, I feel like, not to sound sexist, but it seems like one of the quintessential rules of men is that you have to have a reason to get together. You can't just get together because you want to. Yeah, you can't just get together because you want to. So, this podcast has made a substantial difference in my life because I get to see you boys. I make jokes about it every time I come up there, but really, it's a piece of my heart. You guys are a piece of me that I don't get to really expose myself to as often as I would like. And that's huge for me. So this podcast is really huge for me. And the fact that we're getting ready to get to the point where we can talk about the things we're really excited to talk about while enjoying each other's company is just, I got a boner just thinking about it.
That's the secret. I already had a boner.
That's my secret, Cap. I always have a boner.
Yeah.
Now I feel the same way I have.
Yes.
All right, Daniel. What are you looking forward to in season 4? Or what are some of your goals?
I am looking forward to reading some different stuff. You guys know how much I love horror, but at the same time, we were getting to this point where it was like, okay, we can either start covering all of these classics, or we can start, taking risks and reading some other stuff. But when we don't enjoy things, it's like, sometimes we can be funny mean, but sometimes it just comes off as mean, and we don't like doing that. We try to be positive.
Yeah, because there's at least one person who enjoys everything. So, and I hate yucking people's yums, which I have done, and we've all done.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I feel like we still generally try to be positive.
Yeah.
So, pulling back the number of books we do, one, means that we're not like scrambling to find stuff to read and then end up with something that we hate that we have to slog through.
Yeah.
It means that, like, Brian's getting to expose me to Lord of the Rings. I'm getting to expose you guys to Ender's Game and find out if it does give people PTSD and I'm just a sociopath. So that's what Carrie said. She's like, Daniel, I think you might be psychotic. After I made her read it,
I'm halfway through it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly that extreme, but I mean, it does have a vibe.
We read 29 books this year,
and that's a lot of books.
Yeah, granted, a lot of them are goosebumps, but still.
Yeah, that's a lot of books, and that doesn't include stuff we were trying to read on our own, because I know we both like to read other things.
Yep.
That doesn't include our other hobbies. It doesn't include the movies we watched.
Yeah. The second I finished our last book the second I finished the ceremonies, I was like, I got caught up on Star Wars books, and now I'm reading a book about the Alamo. Yeah. And it's just like, vacation cuck this.
I'm getting ready. After I finish Ender's Game, I'm finally going to read the Tomie manga. I'm going to read some Junji Ito. I haven't.
And that's a big thing too. I'm real excited about is like and I'm not trying to sound lazy, but I mean here, like I think the dream is to be secretly lazy though, right? Like that's the whole point. Like we want to enjoy ourselves and do what we do, but we still want to do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like, it's one thing to read the book for the podcast. It's entirely something else to be able to read the book for the podcast and then explore other venues of things outside of, work. Because this is kind of work.
Now, I also like the idea of every once in a while one of us just going, hey, do you feel like doing this or streaming this? And then we just...
I actually had a random idea today that I think would be a fun one for us to do randomly down the line.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I remember, you remember a while back when we were talking about, like, I can't remember, it was like a homework or something like that where we had to look up, like, I think it was during the Tiger episode where Ryan's homework was, look up what are 3 books that are, like, true story books or something like that. Yeah, like they were not works of nonfiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of them I recommended was The Art of War. I think a fun one like just a fun episode, not nothing scheduled, nothing planned, would be for us to, because I think the book's like what, an hour? It's like very short.
Yeah, it's super short. I've read it before.
Well, like I feel like a fun episode just to get together and do would just be all of us read that book, and then just come around and just literally talk about the philosophy of the book and how it applies to life.
But what about when the spear regiment? Like, how does the spear regiment apply to your life?
Okay.
I haven't read the book
You
yet,
can't
man.
just stop all my sex life in that easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't read the book yet, but I thought that one would be like, since it's so short, and like I feel like we could totally like make some serious fun out of that.
Let me say this: read it, and then tell me if you still think that's a good idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sad face.
Oh, you sounded so sad.
Well, you may think. You may think so. I don't know. Just I want to hear your opinion. Read it.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, oh, I thought it was a good
I can
idea.
give you my thoughts.
Maybe we'll do like a series. We'll do Sun Tzu's Art of War, Machiavelli's The Prince, and then Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto.
This book is woke.
Based on that particular comment,
That's
I'm gonna
why
guess.
she's on election night.
Yeah. Okay. I think I catch your vibe.
Okay.
I'm not cultured.
No, I honestly, I just thought it was kind of boring, but I read it, and if you like it's so short, like I'd be willing to try it again. But yeah, there's definitely like stuff to discuss, but there's also it's not all like philosophical stuff that you can apply. There's actual like talk about like weapons of the time and how to use those weapons, and it's like, okay, so the spear regiment, when you have a spear regiment, you gotta but it's worth reading. It's so short. It's not.
Don't fight uphill.
Don't fight uphill.
Homework for myself.
Okay, all right, let's get to the Horries. The third annual Horries. This is our annual award show where we recognize books we've read, movies we've watched, so on and so forth. For the past 2 years, we've let the community vote on these. So thank you to everybody who took the time to fill out our Google survey and vote on your favorite books and movies that we've consumed this year. We are going to start with probably our biggest award, the Book of the Year. Last year's winner in season 2 was Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And season 1's winner was It by Stephen King. So some pretty high company there. And the nominees this year, and I'm going to read through these kind of fast because there's 29 of them. The Stand, The Eyes of the Dragon, The Gunslinger, The Drawing of the Three, The Wastelands, Wizard and Glass, The Little Sisters of Eloria, Charlie the Choo-Choo, The Wind Through the Keyhole, Rattlesnakes, Wolves of the Kala, Song of Susanna, Cujo, Battle Royale, Let the Right One In, The Great God Pan, The Shadows over Innsmouth, No Beast So Fierce, The Terrifying True Story of the Champawat Tiger, the deadliest animal in history, The Ceremonies, The Beast from the East, Night of the Living Dummies Part 1, 2, and 3, The Haunted Mask 1 and 2, The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, The Attack of the Mutant, I almost said The Attack of the Hobbit, and The Hobbit, or again, Hobbit's Holiday.
You tell me Smaug didn't think that was an Attack of the Hobbit.
Yeah. And the winner is... Or, I'm sorry, the winners are, in a two-way tie for first place, The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King and The Hobbit by j.r.r. Tolkien.
That's just rigged. Little Sisters of Eloria was the best tier book.
You're full of shit. And then we'll go ahead and give a shout out to the runners up, tied for second place were No Be So Fierce by Dane Hucklebridge and The Great God Pan by Arthur Machen. So 4 very good books. Awesome. This is the new to us book of the year, meaning a book that none of us had read before. And we actually had quite a few this year. Previous winners in season 1, our winner was The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And last year in season 2, the winner was River of Teeth by Sarah Gailey, because
How did that win?
because of all the nominees we had, it was the only one that all three of us read. The other one was just Daniel and I read.
I'm not even trying to be bitchy. I was just sitting there I was like, how the fuck?
That's the only reason it got on there.
This year's nominees were Battle Royale by Kushun Takami, The Ceremonies by T.E.D. Klein, The Following Books by Stephen King, The Wastelands, Wizard and Glass, Charlie the Choo Choo, The Went Through the Keyhole, Wolves of Kala, Song of Susanna, Rattlesnakes, and by Dane Hucklebridge, No Beast So Fierce, The Terrifying True Story of the Champagua Tiger, the deadliest animal in history. My very first paper I ever wrote for college, I think the title of my paper was 2 sentences, and my professor made fun of me for making this title so long.
Shows you, Professor.
And this one, this is the only one I didn't include for the public to vote on, because I felt like the three of us kind of had to decide this one for ourselves. Just looking through the list of the ones that all three of us read, I feel like, for me personally, I feel like Wolves of the Kala is the one that three of us collectively enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a dissenting opinion there? Battle Royale.
Yeah, no, that looks right.
The Wastelands, Wizard and Glass, Charlie Choo Choo Went Through the Keyhole. All right.
Yeah, the one that was new to all three.
Wait. Sorry, it's a little bit of a segue. This dude's name is T.E.D. Like T.E.D. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's Theodore Ebon. I forget what the D stands for, Klein, but his nickname is Ted.
He wanted to turn himself into an H.P. Lovecraft. Like, literally.
You're making that shit up.
100%.
No, we talked about it in the episode.
I didn't notice there were dots next to his name until I started looking. I was like, "What the hell is
You
that?"
just thought it was Ted.
I thought it was Ted. What
who's the Five Nights at Freddy's guy?
Scott Cawthon?
No, Scott. It's Scott Cawthorn moment.
Oh yeah.
It's Timothy Scott. I don't remember. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, congratulations to Wolves of Kala for being the new 2000 book of the year.
High Noon. Love it.
Okay, film of the year. I'm not going to go through all the nominees because
too many.
There's like 50 of them.
Yeah.
But the previous winners in season 1, our winner was Call Girl of Cthulhu.
Fuck yeah.
In season 2, our winner was Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary. And this year's winner...
Do we have like a 4-way tie?
We do have a 4-way tie.
I figured. Yeah, that's
We're going to have
hilarious.
to figure out a way to decide this.
Okay, so it's a 4-way tie between...
Put them in a wheel, Ryan.
All right. So, The Ramen Girl, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Independence Day, and The Princess Bride.
Whoa.
No, we all voted for FDR, and
yeah.
I had to nix that because we're not doing that until next season.
What were these again? Oh no, I voted for The Ramen Girl.
The Ramen Girl, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the animated one, Independence Day, and The Princess Bride.
Okay, let's put them in a wheel.
All right, hold on here.
I think that's the only fair way to decide. Does that mean we should put The Hobbit and what's it called in a wheel?
Eyes of the Dragon? No, let's just let them share it. Just let them share it.
Those were two very excellent books. I think that's more than fine.
I'm kind of pulling for The Ramen Girl here.
You mean Louie and Noodles?
Yeah.
The Ramen Girl.
We watched that without subtitles and it was a blast.
I'm trying to remember, like, I think I picked The Princess Bride. Or if I didn't, it was Independence Day. I don't remember which one.
You got to pick 3. Or no, you got to pick 5.
You had to pick several, I think. I just don't remember how...
Yeah.
I don't remember.
All right, and The Ramen Girl! I'll go ahead and tell you. No matter what it landed on, I was going to say the Ramen Girl. I gave Daniel one of those shushed moments, but it legitimately landed on the Ramen Girl. It is. There's a lot of reasons why you could say it's a bad movie, but it's also very cute and funny. So
it's also very fun to watch with somebody if you don't have the Japanese subtitles on, which we didn't.
Yeah,
I think it works.
I rewatched part of it with subtitles, and
the other movie we had for this was like the Call Girl of Cthulhu. I think that makes it acceptable.
New film of the year, so a film that had come out in the past year. We had 3 nominees. Oh, and last year's winners. We didn't do this in season 1, but in season 2, we had a 2-way tie between Cocaine Bear and Renfield, which was very well earned.
That's a hell of a tie.
This year, we have a less distinguished class of graduates.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement.
Okay, so our nominees this year are The Exorcist, Believer, Alien, Romulus, and Salem's Lot. And yes. And the winner is unanimously Salem's Lot, 100% of the votes.
There we go.
All right. And then our TV content of the year. Season 1, our winner was the It 1990 2-part miniseries. And season 2, our winner was The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. This year's nominees are the reigning champion, The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, Bluey, Midnight Mass, Goosebumps 1995, and Goosebumps 2023.
Forgot y'all had a Bluey.
And the winner is, we had a Bluey episode on April Fool's Day.
And then we just sort of watched some Bluey episodes.
Bluey! Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
Hooray, Bluey.
Yay. And then short story of the year. Our previous winners in season 1, it was a 2-way tie between The Mark of the Beast by Rudyard Kipling and The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. And in season 2 was a 2-way tie between Dracula's Guest by Bram Stoker and The Werewolf by Alma Katsu. Now, unfortunately, we only read 2 short stories this year. However, the nominees are Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving and Let the Old Dreams Die by John Lindquist.
Yeah,
I was trying to pronounce his name. And this one was the close one, but the winner is Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. Yay!
Ichabod's a fuck.
He is. He really is. And then Comic of the Year. In season 1, we had a 3-way tie between Domu by Katsuhiro Otomo, Mermaid Saga by Rumiko Takahashi, and The Enigma of Amigara Fault by Junji Ito. And in season 2, the winner was Uzumaki by Junji Ito.
I like the wheel from now on for breaking some of these ties.
And this year's, we also read a lot fewer comics this year, but not as drastic as short stories. This year's nominees were Battle Royale by Masayuki Takaguchi, Battle Royale Angel's Border by Miyoko Onishi and Yohei Oguma, Let Me In Crossroads by Mark Andreyko, and Arthur Machen's The Great God Pan by Daniel Bell. And the winners are a 2-way tie between both Battle Royale mangas.
So we could just say it's Battle Royale.
We'll just say the franchise one.
Yeah, the franchise of the comics.
Yeah. Cool. All right, and then gaming content of the year. Previous winners. In season 1, we had a two-way tie between Doki Doki Literature Club and The Cult of the Lamb. And in season 2, we had a two-way tie between Luigi's Mansion and Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
And this year's nominees are The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, Resistance Fall of Man, August 8th, 1888, Needle, Alabama. That classic video game.
What the fuck even is that?
I was gonna. My original plan was to do a bunch of fake things just to vote that to be number 1. But I got lazy and didn't do it.
I think it was our 300 subscriber live stream. Daniel and I did a let's play of a point and click horror game that
we couldn't get Paper Lily to work.
Because we couldn't get Paper Lily to work, and it just ended up being like super racist.
Oh wait, were we racist or was the game racist?
The game was racist.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Maybe a little racist.
I didn't know about this. That sounds hilarious.
I honestly think the episode is kind of funny, like listening to us. Like
I need to find that one so that I can make a clip version.
Yeah, go ahead. We can post it on all the things, and we played through the entire game, start to finish in one setting. It's great. It's not a long game, but we did. You know.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Okay. The rest of the nominees: Pokemon Go, Resident Evil 4, the 2005 remake, Parasite Eve, Age of Zombies, and Dear Esther, the Landmark Edition. And the winner is, in a two-way tie for first place,
get a coin ready.
Oblivion and Majora's Mask. And I'm fine with these two sharing the title. Honestly, I think they're I've watched every single thing you've done from start to finish. With I'm sorry, with the one exception of I haven't watched all the Digimon stuff.
Oh, you're good.
I think those two are your best two.
I've been listening to his Digimon stuff while I play Silent Hill 2 when I'm too scared.
Good news. I got my GameCube finally figured out, so I'm now able to start doing that again. Like I literally just got it back this week.
I just found a GameCube in my house, and I need to see if it works.
I've got games.
I was gonna sell it or give it to one of you guys if you want it.
No, I've got a Wii, and honestly, GameCubes are worth like nothing since the Wii was backwards compatible.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, here, someone take it. I'm just trying to get shit out of my house.
Yeah, they're also like, in terms of the GameCube discs are like the worst for like resale. Like they scratch the easiest. They are the hardest to maintain. Like
they're also expensive if you're trying to buy them because they're just
like if you have them in good condition. Yeah,
they're some of those are just so absurdly priced.
All right, I guess I should have been saying the second place on these. All right, well, since we're on this one, I'll say in a two-way tie for second place was Parasite Eve and Pokemon's Go. Hef and I did our Hef GG versus Dark.
Those are fun
videos. Yeah, we need to do some more.
We do. Yeah, that was super fun.
Okay.
Maybe in spring.
Yeah. Treehouse of Horror of the Year. Last year's winner was Death Tome, the Death Note episode. And the nominees are, and unfortunately, this will exclude whatever the last one is that we do because we kind of decided to do it last minute to replace FDR. So whatever that episode is, I'm sorry that you didn't get included in this. But the nominees are The Last Thanksgiving, Homerzilla, Dial D for Diddley, Danger Things, Easy Bake Coven, Hex in the City, Tweenlight, and The Raven. And the winner is The Raven. Thank you, James Earl Jones. Rest in peace.
I can't even be mad.
Yeah, and a two-way tie for second place, Dial D for Diddley and Homerzilla. And then the Horror of Babylon miniseries of the year. Last year's winner was The Treehouse of Horror of Babylon. And this year's nominees are the returning champion, the Treehouse of Horror of Babylon, the Blade-a-thon, the Deadite-a-thon, the Universal Monster-a-thon, which was only 2 episodes, but whatever, and the Hounds of Babylon, the Bluey cast, which was only 1 episode. But the winner and still champion is the Treehouse of Horror of Babylon.
Again, can't even be mad.
Yep. All right, and then Author of the Year. Season 1's winner was Stephen King, and Season 2 winner was Mary Shelley. And the nominees this year are Stephen King, R.L. Stine, j.r.r. Tolkien, Koshun Takami, Dane Hucklebridge, John Lindquist, Washington Irving, Arthur Monken, H.P. Lovecraft, Daniel Bell, Mark and Draco, Miyoko Onishi, Masayuki Taguchi, and T.E.D. Klein. Oh, I should have put him next to H.P. Lovecraft and J.R.R. Tolkien and R.L. Stein. Whoops.
Also, you should have put him in between Stephen King and Monken. No, you should put Stephen King between them.
And the winner is J.R.R. Tolkien.
This is like, I believe I bitched about this before, where we were just like, I mean, we have a contest with this, and why the fuck do we have other people in this?
Yeah.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Moving on to Kings and Koontz, shouting out some of our previous Kings and Koontzes from the previous anniversary episodes, because these are funny to go back and look back on. So for Hef, he didn't give us any Koontzes because, you know, he's the forever the optimist.
He's the positive boy.
For season 1, his king was me being triggered by the reveal that Jim Gordon is the villain in the Gotham by Gaslight.
You were so mad.
I was really mad. And then your season 2 king, and I quote, noticeable upgrades by all parties, is exactly what you said word for word. And then for Daniel, Daniel had a two things as his king for season 1. One was me throwing my copy of the Confederado across the room. The other was Hef walking out during the Doki Doki Literature Club live stream. I believe, I don't remember if it was after What's Her Face hung herself.
Yeah, fuck you, Daniel.
He was like, nope, and he goes and he smokes. It's really funny.
And then for season 2, your king was all the new authors we read, which we completely reversed on this year and read like 70% Stephen King.
It's a long series.
Yeah. Your Koontz for season 1 was the Nothing But Black and Teeth episode, and your Koontz for season 2 was
I Am Springtrap.
Yep.
Twisted ones never change.
And then for me, my king for season 1 was Carrie and I finding out that Daniel's not the edgelord that we thought he was.
Yeah, you guys are like, man, that's like an actual answer.
Talking about the unfortunate child sex in the
Oh.
and then my king from season 2 was the support from our patrons. And my Koontz for season 1 was the Nothing But Black and Teeth episode. And my Koontz for season 2 was reviewing content that I didn't give a crap about, like Five Nights at Freddy's and a few other things. But I just to add a note of positivity in there, I did enjoy the movie, so it was worth it a little bit at least. So cool.
Maybe the second movie will be good too.
Yeah,
they just released the posters for it.
Cool. All right, and I have your guys' Kings and Koontz here and the answers here, but since you're here, it seems silly for me to answer for you.
I don't remember what
I also don't remember what I wrote.
All right, well, I don't have names, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I know whose is who. I think Hef, your king for season 3 is more satisfying content from the hosts.
That sounds right.
And I think yours, Daniel, is Ryan and his hard work heart emoji.
Yes, make sure to put the heart emoji in there.
Okay.
No.
That's very cute.
My favorite one out of all the other responses is someone just wrote King Richard the Lionhearted.
Oh, that needs to be the king of the year. Fuck you, Stephen King.
Screw you, Prince John. And my king is the continued support from our patrons. Much appreciated. And then for Koontz, I believe Hef's answer is Ryan's stress injury.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I think Daniel's, I know Daniel's is the one that says Meta King. And then I'm pretty sure, I would bet money that this is the same person who wrote King Lionheart. For their Koontz, they just wrote Dean Winchester.
Who is this
I love
person?
this guy. We need to get this person on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, they didn't leave their name, so shout out to you, mysterious commenter. And my Koontz, I guess my injury. Sure, that works. Okay, cool. So that's that. And our question for the listeners is, we're moving into season 4. We have a new format, but we're never really locked into anything for sure here. This is a continually evolving and growing project. So we appreciate any feedback you give, constructive criticism, in some cases unconstructive criticism. If we like interaction. We want to hear from you. Comment on the YouTube videos. You can drop up a line to us on our social media. You can email us at thehorrorofbabylonpodcast@gmail.com. If you know us personally through one of our social media accounts or IRL, feel free to reach out to us. If you really want to help, definitely comment on the YouTube page. That's the best way to do it. But if you have something you don't want to put publicly, feel free to email us or DM us or any of that stuff. But just, if you have feedback, you have ideas, please let us know. And then finally, I just want to give a huge shout out, one, to the people who filled out the Horries. Thank you very much. But also just our listeners, people who listen, be it, once or twice a year, or to the people who listen every week. And also shout out to our social media followers. Thank you very much to our families for supporting us and allowing us to do this multiple times a week. And also just a shout out to our friends who support us as well. And a big shout out to our patrons. Thank you to Abigail, Logan, Ben, Mia, Sierra, and Ron. Oh my God, I didn't forget anybody, did I? No,
I think there's 6 people. I think you're good.
Okay, all right. So, upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, as we discussed on our last episode, we are moving to a monthly format where we will be doing 12 episodes a year, 12 books a year, being released on the last Sunday of each month. So the way it'll work is you'll have a month to read the book. Last Sunday of the month, we'll drop our episode discussing it, and we are going to keep you apprised 3 months ahead of time as to what those books will be. So if you need to buy, borrow, rent, or steal, or prioritize Audible credits, you'll know what you need to do to follow along with us. So last Sunday in November, which is November 25th, we will be dropping our episode on Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. And on the last Sunday in December, which is December 29th, we will drop our episode on The Dark Tower by Stephen King. The last Sunday of January, January 26th, we will drop our episode on The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring by j.r.r. Tolkien. And, we'll let you know each month what the next one will be. So in November, find out February's book. December, you'll find out March's book. You can probably assume what February and March will be, but I won't be telling you. You won't be hearing it from me, not until November and December. But thank you very much. And like I said, if you have any feedback, please let us know. Daniel and Hef, do you guys have any final thoughts on season 3, on the upcoming season 4, and just anything you want to shout out?
Watch 8888.
No, it was so bad. It was so bad.
I'm making a note to get that fixed up. That's one of my side projects I got.
It was so horrendous.
Oh, that means there's no way it can't be the best thing I've seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I find I'm
All
sure
right,
it's really great.
Well, thank you guys for recording our anniversary episode. And, oh, by the way, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy
Which also
Halloween,
means
folks. Yeah.
Happy birthday to Ryan soon.
Thanks for thanks for sticking around with us. Bunch of dumbasses just talking amongst ourselves.
Yep. Thanks for sticking with the dumbasses. All right. Thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
Stay scary, folks.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.
I guess let's go ahead and get started. The outline is in the Google Drive if you want to bring it up.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and tell you both now that we had, aside from the three of us, we only had two people do the voting. However, I only posted it one time. I didn't post it multiple times like I planned to, and I also planned to mention it, in our episodes for the past few weeks, and
we just haven't.
Didn't do any of that. So
what? That's not bad for just dropping it once.
Can't really be mad. And honestly, it really should only be one person, because one person who responded to it, they left their comment saying, "I've never listened to this show before."
What?
And I figured, they're just doing it to try and win the Pennywise Funko, and no, they didn't leave their name or email, and neither did the other. Nobody did. So
That's fantastic.
That just means we have something to give away next time.